Well, let's take a look at how prepositions function in the actual text. And we're just going to go up here and say, I want to search for words. And let's start with ace. Ace is that preposition that always takes its object in the accusative, and it basically means to or into. And so in Matthew 2:1, you have, behold, the Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. Now, ace is your preposition, and the word for Jerusalem, as you can see down below, is accusative. And so we know that ace takes its objects in the accusative. So here's your preposition, here's your object, and then together, to Jerusalem is your prepositional phrase. Pretty straightforward, right? Matthew 2:8, and sending them to Bethlehem. Bethlehem is, again, an accusative. And upon entering, well, we don't tend to say into the house. Entering carries the idea of the ace into. So after going into the house, okay, now here you have an extra word, right? You have the article the. And remember I said that a prepositional phrase is the preposition, its object, and then any modifiers of that object. So this whole phrase, eisthein or kion, is the prepositional phrase into the house. All right? These are, again, pretty straightforward. This is when the Magi left, and they went another way. They went. And the idea is back to the country, their own. See, they went back. You don't go back into the country, and this is some of the flexibility prepositions that I talk about. They left for. That's how you say it in English, right? They left for their own land. So you got a bit of flexibility here in the meaning of ace. And you also notice you have another modifier. You have the preposition, its object horon. It's in the accusative because ace is a preposition that takes the accusative. You have the as the modifier, and you also have auton, their own. Now in English, we don't say into the land there. We drop out the word the, and we say into their own land. What you're going to find in the translation of prepositional phrases is that articles are often ignored when they're modifying the object. And you'll also find that Greek tends to not use an article with the object of the preposition when English does. So you'll see you'll see situations where there is no article here, but English requires it. So a little bit of flexibility. But anyway, this is your entire prepositional phrase, into the country, their own, into their own land. They left for their own land. So it's a good example of flexibility of the meaning of the preposition, and that the prepositional phrase includes the modifiers of its object. Okay? All right, very good. Well, let's go up and let's switch, and we'll look at the preposition and. But I think I'm going to this time limit it to Mark so I can show some different examples. In Mark 1:2, we have, just as it is written in the Isaiah the prophet. Okay, just as it is written in Isaiah the prophet. But here you have Isaiah, it is Isaiah, and it is the object of the preposition and. It's got a modifier. You usually have articles in front of proper names in Greek. And then you also have another modifier, the prophet. So this whole thing is your prepositional phrase. It is written in Isaiah the prophet. And in this case, this translation is thinking that it's not so much that Isaiah said it, but that it's in his book, which is how the translation is. But anyway, just as it is written in Isaiah or by Isaiah the prophet would be another way to translate it. Mark 1:3, a voice crying in the wilderness. Okay, there's your whole prepositional phrase. Eremo is dative because it's the object of the preposition and that does take the dative. And again, you'll notice that while objects of preposition follow the prepositions, there can be intervening words, especially like the word the. Okay? John the Baptizer appeared in the wilderness. There's your object of your preposition. And let's see if there's any kind of other fun examples here. Oh yeah, here's Mark 1:8. I baptize you in water, which is the dative case. He will baptize you. Well, how's he going to baptize you? He's going to baptize you in the Holy Spirit or with the Holy Spirit. Well, again, flexibility on how you translate these prepositions. But this is a pretty normal translation to say with the Holy Spirit. That's probably enough. Now, okay, here's a little one. We'll end with this one. Mark 1:16. Jesus was going alongside the Sea of Galilee. He saw Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon, casting nets in the sea. Well, in English, we don't say you cast in the sea. We say you cast them into the lake, into the sea. So again, a little flexibility, but thalase is the object of the preposition and it's in the dative. You're getting the idea by now, right? All right. The other preposition that we looked at was apa. And apa is a preposition that always takes its objects in the genitive. Now, in those days, Jesus came from Nazareth, Okay, here's your preposition. There's your object of the preposition. It's in the genitive case because apa takes its objects in the genitive case. And immediately, the leprosy went out from him. Well, again, how do you say that? Well, in English, we would combine the op, and that helps to form this particular verb, and the op that you see right there. And by the way, this does illustrate something. What you will find is this, you can see it's apa, but here it's op. You go, well, what happened? Well, sometimes the ends of prepositions can change. It's in this case, the omicron dropped off because of the following word. It's easier to say apautu than it is to say apaautu. And Greeks don't like that kind of cadence, hiatus it takes to say apaautu. So it's they drop the omicron. So apa and op are the same word, just different forms of the same word. But anyway, immediately the leprosy, the skin disease, went from him. By the way, you do know, don't you, that lepra does not just leprosy. It's a variety of skin disorders. Lots of things. It's a serious skin disease, but there are a lot of skin disease come under the word, Greek word lepra, which comes in English, obviously, is leprosy. But anyway. Okay, so those are three examples of three prepositions, each of them taking a different case for its object. Now, I gave you a little something extra in the video lesson, and that is I pointed out that there are some prepositions that can take objects in more than one case. So let's take a look at meta, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to pull up examples from Matthew. And what this means is that when you pull up the definition of meta, you're going to go down and it's going to divide, for these kinds of prepositions, it's going to divide the definition up based on the case of its object. Now, meta is a pretty expansive word, so this entry is pretty long, but you'll notice it says meta with the genitive basically means with, and then it's going to have all kinds of discussion of meta meaning with. And so you just scroll and scroll and scroll and go out and get something to eat for lunch and keep scrolling. And you're eventually going to come down here to where it says with the accusative. And what that means is that when meta is followed by an object in the genitive, it means with. But when it's followed by an object in the accusative, it basically means after or behind. So when you come over here in Matthew 1:12 and you see meta, you can't translate it till you go find its object. And here the object is the Greek word for deportation. You look down, you see it's accusative. Oh, okay. Meta with the accusative means after the deportation to Babylon. But you go down to Matthew 1:23 and you say, you're defining who Emmanuel is, and they say, Emmanuel, which is translated, okay, now I know this says meth, not the drug. It says meth, but if you look down at the bottom, you see that meth is just another form of meta. Okay, again, not only is the alpha dropped off, but the tau has changed to a theta, and that's because this word begins with a rough breathing. It's hard to say meth-hamon. It's easy to say meth-hamon. And so it just changes in the Greek word. No big deal, but it's still meta. But you notice you can't translate this until you go find its object. But here the object, hamon, is in the genitive. You go, oh, okay. In this case, meth has to mean with. It can't mean after because its object is in the genitive. So Emmanuel means God with us. See the process? All right. Matthew 2:3, now when King Herod heard this, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem met. Well, what's the object? It's autou, it's in the genitive, so met means with him. Now, one of the interesting little things in accordance you can do is you can say, let's just look at all of the places in which meta is followed by an object in a certain case. So you go down to search, enter tag, and you go down to preposition, and you say here, I want the object of the case to be, we'll say genitive. And so it fills out the code for you, and you do your search. And now these are all where meta is followed by an object in the genitive. And so these are all examples of meaning with. So they saw the child with Mary, all right? And you go into the boat with Zebedee. And while you were still with him on the way. Okay, so these are all meta with objects in the genitive. And you can just go up here and type in accusative if you want. And now you have all the examples of meta basically meaning after. And so you go down and after 2 days, after a little while, after his resurrection. So again, just different ways to look at prepositions, but that gives you a basic understanding of what they're all about, right? All right, good.